Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more details videos. What John McEnroe predicted Coco Gauff would achieve in tennis by the age of 20, which never came true. Coco Gauff has been one of the biggest names on the WTA Tour since she made her breakthrough at 15 years old. Gauff was already starting to make some noise in 2019, but really took the world by storm when she played in her first Grand Slam main draw at Wimbledon. After coming through qualifying, Gauff beat Venus Williams at Wimbledon in her first-round match. Although Gauff is now a two-time Grand Slam champion, she did not fulfill a prediction that John McEnroe had for her. What John McEnroe predicted would happen to Coco Gauff at Wimbledon in 2019. Gauff beat five-time Wimbledon champion Williams 6-4, 6-4 on the number one court in her debut Grand Slam match. This victory provoked a huge reaction from across the world, with even McEnroe impressed by the teenager. When speaking to the BBC at the time, McEnroe was full of praise for Gauff and backed her to become world number one as a teenager. "Gauff's not only physically mature, but also mentally," said McEnroe. "I look at the way she plays. If she's not number one in world by 20, I will be absolutely shocked." Only 5 teenagers in history had managed to reach the summit of the WTA rankings before, with Martina Hingis the youngest at 16 years and 182 days. Another of those teenage number ones is Tracy Austin, who also hyped up Gauff's future at the time. "People have been talking about Coco for years," said Austin. "They have now started to recognize her internationally. Obviously, she's a tremendous athlete, but to walk on court to face Venus, a player who she idolizes, there were plenty of opportunities for her to get tight and nervous. She has been raised for greatness, and this is beginning." WTA teenager who was world number one. Age when they became world number one. Martina Hingis, 16 years and 182 days. Monica Seles, 17 years and 99 days. Tracy Austin, 17 years and 116 days. Steffi Graf, 18 years and 64 days. Maria Sharapova, 18 years and 125 days. Gauff would go on to reach the 4th round of Wimbledon that year, but McEnroe's prediction about her never came true. The American would reach a career high as a teenager of world number 3, which Gauff achieved after winning the 2023 U.S. Open. Gauff, who is now 21 years old, has since bettered this, but is still yet to lead the WTA rankings. Could Coco Gauff become world number one this year? Gauff is currently the world number 2, with Aryna Sabalenka leading the WTA rankings on a colossal 12,420 points. Sabalenka leads Gauff by 4,751 in the rankings, but there are still some big tournaments coming up this year. This includes the final Grand Slam of 2025, where Sabalenka is the defending U.S. Open champion and has 2,000 ranking points to protect. Although Gauff did not perform so well at the U.S. Open last year, she still has a significant number of ranking points to defend from her title victories at the WTA Finals and the China Open. WTA ranking. Total ranking points. Points defending this year. Ranking points earned in 2025. 1. Aryna Sabalenka, 12,420. 5,025. 7,395. 2. Coco Gauff, 7,669. 3,060. 4,609. While Gauff is currently the person closest to catching Sabalenka, another WTA player has actually been backed to finish the year as world number one. Based off previous comments, this is not likely to affect Gauff, who claimed she would rather win majors than become world number one. In 2019, the tennis world watched in awe as a 15-year-old Coco Gauff burst onto the global stage, defeating Venus Williams at Wimbledon and igniting conversations about the future of women's tennis. Among those who took note was none other than tennis legend John McEnroe, a man never short of an opinion. Known for his fire on the court and sharp commentary off it, McEnroe didn't hesitate to crown Gauff as the sport's next megastar. "I wouldn't be surprised," McEnroe famously said in an ESPN interview that summer, "if Coco Gauff wins a Grand Slam by the time she turns 18. And by 20, she could be world number one. Easily." It was a prediction loaded with admiration optimism, and perhaps, in hindsight, too much pressure. Now, in 2025, as Coco Gauff crosses the threshold of her 21st birthday, it's clear that not everything John McEnroe envisioned came to pass. Gauff is still very much a rising star, still beloved by fans, and still incredibly talented. But some of the predictions made about her meteoric rise simply never materialized in the way many, including McEnroe, had hoped. So what exactly did McEnroe see in Coco Gauff? Why did the prophecy fall short? And what does it say about the weight of early success in modern sport? The weight of a phenomenon. To understand the roots of McEnroe's prediction, you need to go back to Gauff's Wimbledon debut in 2019. Then a fresh-faced teen with braids, braces, and fearless court presence. She captivated crowds with her poise and power. She didn't just beat Venus. She stormed past her with a calm that belied her years. "I've never seen someone that young handle pressure that well," McEnroe said at the time. "This girl is the real deal." And he wasn't wrong. Gauff was the real deal. She had the athleticism, the court sense, the work ethic, and the charisma. She was marketable, driven, and adored. McEnroe's logic made sense. If she was as good at 15, imagine her at 18. Imagine her at 20. By 2020, he had doubled down. She's going to change the game. Mark my words, within the next couple of years, she'll have a slam and be ranked in the top 2, if not number 1. But then reality happened. The harsh reality of the Pro Tour. Tennis is a lonely, relentless sport. And for all the glamour, the path to greatness is littered with immense pressure, travel, injuries, and mental fatigue. For Gauff, the challenges began piling up soon after her breakout. Though she reached her first WTA title in 2019 in Linz and continued making deep runs in majors, including a French Open final in 2022, she never quite lived up to the teen Grand Slam champion prophecy. The wins came, but not the big one. The ranking climbed, but never to number 1. By 20, she had hovered consistently in the top 10, winning a few WTA 500 and 1000 events, even becoming a fan favorite with her graceful speeches and social advocacy. But she wasn't yet the dominant force McEnroe envisioned, and some critics began whispering, had the hype been too much? The curse of early comparisons. John McEnroe wasn't alone in his lofty predictions. The media often compared Gauff to Serena and Venus Williams. She had trained at the same academy, had a similar American upbringing, and showed flashes of that Williams-like fire. But Serena had won her first slam at 17. Venus made a U.S. Open final at 17. Gauff didn't. She's her own person. Gauff said in a 2023 interview, "Tired of the comparisons. I respect them so much, but I'm carving my own path." McEnroe's intentions weren't malicious. He genuinely believed she had the game and mental fortitude to break through quickly. But in retrospect, his predictions may have been part of a broader tennis tradition of heaping expectations on teenage prodigies. And sometimes those expectations don't match reality, not because the player failed, but because success in tennis is far more nuanced than the fairy tales suggest. A sport that changed beneath her feet. When McEnroe made his prediction, the landscape of women's tennis looked different. Serena was aging out. Naomi Osaka was taking a step back. Ash Barty would soon shock the world with an early retirement. It seemed a perfect time for Gauff to swoop in. But what McEnroe didn't foresee was the explosion of depth in women's tennis. Iga Swiatek emerged from nowhere to become a dominant world number 1. Aryna Sabalenka found consistency and began collecting titles. Elena Rybakina, Ons Jabeur, Jessica Pegula, and others began building strong careers. The field became more unpredictable and more competitive than ever. Gauff wasn't underachieving. The game had just evolved. "She's doing amazing," Martina Navratilova said in 2024. Maybe she hasn't hit McEnroe's dream timeline, but she's one of the best young players on tour. And she's still just getting started. The mental side of the game. Another underappreciated challenge? The mental toll. At 19, Gauff openly discussed her struggles with anxiety and burnout. "When people call you the future of the sport at 15, it sounds cool," she said in a Tennis Channel interview. "But sometimes it feels like you're trying to live up to someone else's movie." In fact, She took a short break from tennis in late 2023 to regroup mentally. It was a reminder that greatness isn't always linear. McEnroe himself, known for his fiery attitude, later admitted, "Maybe I was too quick to project. It's hard enough being a teenager. Being a teenage tennis star is even harder." Gauff's achievements by 20, the real story. While McEnroe's prediction may not have fully materialized, Coco Gauff's resume by age 20 is still extraordinary. First WTA title at 15. Multiple WTA 500 and 1,000 titles. A French Open runner-up finish, 2022. Top 5 world ranking. Olympic doubles bronze medalist. One of the most marketable female athletes globally. Respected voice on social justice issues. These are not the achievements of a letdown. These are the foundations of a career still very much in ascent. A different kind of greatness. The beauty of Coco Gauff's story is that it refuses to be boxed into someone else's forecast. She is not Serena. She is not McEnroe's dream come true. She is Coco, bright, determined, resilient, and entirely her own. Maybe she didn't win a slam by 18. Maybe she wasn't number 1 by 20. But maybe, just maybe, her greatest tennis is still ahead. And maybe McEnroe, for all his misplaced timelines, wasn't wrong about her potential, just about the clock. The redemption arc ahead. Now entering her prime years, Gauff seems more grounded than ever. With a new coaching team in 2025, a refined serve, and a more aggressive mindset, she looks poised to contend seriously for major titles. "I'm not chasing McEnroe's expectations," she told reporters earlier this year. "I'm chasing my own dreams now." It's a mature, powerful statement from a woman who was once a girl with the world watching. And if her story has taught us anything, it's that greatness can't always be rushed. Sometimes it unfolds in surprising, beautifully imperfect ways. Final thoughts. The myth of the perfect trajectory. John McEnroe's prediction about Coco Gauff was made with excitement and belief, but also through the lens of a sport that often forgets its athletes are human.